Oh yeah, it's a lot of reading shit. Let's begin. All right. We've already done this one. Processadors have been known to engage in compromising behavior. At once, Lord Captain. A long time, he had made very measured statements to the effect of that for some time now. The mental image conveyed by Prass have been taking a shade of profound anxiety, become more aloof and detached overall. Jeffrey Wise attributes this to Prass's horrific experience here in the Warp Storm, but he is less than completely sure, as there is still something that sets the Dragoris Choir Master's messages apart from those of his fellow survivors. Want to hear my retinue's opinion? Both parties have shown disrespect for the Imperial's authority. Del Haas is engaged in a mob justice, and the defendant did not even deign to stand trial in person. Sentence them both to death. That would be the optimal outcome. It's not excessive to execute both parties. No, such a branch would remind your subjects that only the road trader has the right to administer justice. Besides, if you take the host side, it will inspire new self-proclaimed executors, and if you absolve the astropath and he turns out to have been guilty after all, other heretics will feel safe to act with impunity. That is why I advise you to be stern. The Let's is on your side. I heard you, and I'm ready to pass my judgment. Both parties will be executed. A harsh verdict, but from now on, your subject will hardly dare to escalate situations to the point of open clashes, in cases similar to this one, of course. The trader has made a decision. Our BD's carried out. Giant fucking melta. The court will now hear petition CR 1457/33 restated. The petitioner is Cardinal Avalas. Your argument, please, Cardinal. A gaunt man rises from the blood with raises his bloodshot eyes to you. For a moment, all sounds cease. Even the scratching of the countless servo skull wills. The man's gaze is full of pain, so strong and undiluted that your breath seizes in your throat. I am impure, O Emperor Anointed One. I am beset by impure thoughts, but no one believes my confession. I have been giving away my treasures I possess only for people to bring me more. Worse still is the knowledge that I am leading people astray. They look at me and believe a state of perfect grace is attainable, while I am very tired. Cardinal blinks away the tears and continues, but most terribly of all is that my brethren, the preachers of the Throne of Suspense, see me as a holy man. Their delusions have been so persistent that they sent a petition to Holy Terra asking that I be made a saint. That was when I became firm in my decision to submit to torture in front of my congregation. Thus remind them that no holiness exists unless bestowed by the gift of the Emperor. Even clerics of my rank can and must repent, thus becoming more pure every day. Please allow me to undergo the mortal torture in his name in front of my parishioners. Colonel is asking to be tortured to death for his wickedness. That's correct. In addition, he insists that the subjects bear witness to it, as a lesson to them, so to speak. To refuse a cardinal is impious in and of itself, but to execute one who is a saint in all but name Cardinal himself is somehow to blame for what happened, but your conjectures are stubbornly failing to catalyze into a clear and compiling verdict. We can fucking straight through. How's it going, Ben? How you doing, man? Been a minute. Fucking got a promotion at work, so now I'm fucking extremely busy. Skip. Let us begin. This retinue thinks execute both. Lots of cutscenes. What does my retinue have to say? Wise counsel play here. This is not to be found within these walls. Reverend Hyamus would understand the workings of his cardinal soul and trust him to be a good shepherd of the Drusians. Situation analysis. The Bloodsman web is acknowledged in ways of torment. One flash without going. Ways of tormenting one's flesh without going to the undying one before due time. Dolmen allow us to help Cardinal attain enlightenment and experience the purity of near-death state. Undergoing our ritual would make him realize it is not in his gift to sever his own thread. With the Let's Pray, the Cardinal Saint may be personally challenged by sainting their may personally challenge their sainting by petitioning the Ecclesiarchy on Holy Terra. Sidestepping the head of the Imperial Toll is a violation of the Emperor's law. Since astropathic communication with the rest of the Imperium has been disrupted, I propose to put Cardinal Annalus on a ship that crosses the Maw so that he can submit his request with every formality observed. The Maw is closed, and that does nothing to diminish the stipulations of the Lex Imperialis. Besides, following the letter of the law absolves you of the necessity of tainting your hands with the blood of a potential saint. Either the Cardinal will cross the Maw, thus proving his sainthood, or he will perish if the Emperor wills it. As you can see, the Lex Imperialis has all the answers. I'm ready to pass my judgment. Compliancy, Prometheum, and mechanisms. It is my belief that the Reverend Hyamus is unsurpassed in his comprehension of humanity's holiness. 800 isn't all that much, but I will doubtless be the Cardinal's most passionate adherent. I will doubtless be the Cardinal's passionate adherent who follow him on his perilous journey, wishing to see him sainted. I suppose that would minimize the potential unrest that the ecclesiarchal fervent believers are prone to. Should have servitorized him. I need the mechanisms. The Road Trader has made his will clear. Cardinal will leave the Palace of Justice and accept his fate. Let us move on to the last case for today. The court will now hear case DP 1646/7. Lady Mollis Secundus against the late Lord Mollis. Lord Mollis being deceased. He will be represented by his progeny Agatha and Sigillus Mollis. Representative for the parties will present arguments following standard procedure. Your Lordship, I am Lady Mollis Secundus. Only 8 sexual man broke into my house. Posing as my husband, the late Mullis, contrary to what I know, he denies that he was killed by pirates. Instead, he perpetually survived thanks to the God Emperor's providence. However, I hold here his death certificate issued by the Administratum, which certainly states that my husband passed away. I demand that this fraud be executed. The woman belligerently waves around a scroll on which the words "declared dead" are clearly visible. The arguments are acknowledged and shall be weighed on the scales of justice. The representative will retreat to the chapel of patience and await the verdict. Your lordship, our father did survive. He really was captured by pirates who were going to demand ransom, but the Imperial Navy managed to board the ship and rescue him. After he went missing, our mother, Lady Mullis, arranged for a death certificate before we received the good news. Now we are in the humiliating position of having to prove that our father is alive, while our mother is living with her new husband, Lord Secundus, and has taken over our family business. We implore you to restore Lord Mullis to his life and name. He is humbly awaiting your decision in the Chapel of Patience. All arguments have been acknowledged. Let the road trader's verdict be delivered. Let my retinue speak. This absurdity has dragged on for too long, so be it. The Emperor as my witness, I am reluctant to revisit my earlier training and experience in the Administratum, but I'm going to have to. Does Lady Mullis Secundus have a paper that certifies she is alive? If not, the defendant is deemed dead, with all that entails. Lady Mullis Secundus is right, and her children are the impostor's accomplices. They are guilty of defaming the authenticity of Administratum documents. Now Sorum has enough sane Freud in him for a regiment. Let the woman know that her heirs must face the same fate as the criminal, for so stipulates the Emperor's law. I'm ready to pass my verdict. And she's right about the importance of paperwork. If Lady Mullis Secundus does not have the certificate in question, her children will inherit her property. The case is hereby closed due to the defendant's demise. The prefect looks at you The prefect looks at you, then the inaugurator with slight alarm. No contradictions found. I imagine the young Mullis are going to hand the reins of the family business back to the man whom they consider their father. Your decision is also going to affect the work of the Administratum. We can certainly expect to be swamped with requests for legally alive certificates, but this will help uncover false identities and non-existent nobility. This session is now concluded. I gained chemicals and weapons. As the last attendants leave the courtroom, the prefect turns to you with a delightful expression. Lady Theodora held court sessions like this to strengthen her subjects' faith, the Lex Imperialis, and their fear of breaching it. A most useful practice, won't you agree? Are there no more active disputes in my domain? Come now, bring me a few more misguided souls. Your enthusiasm is laughable, but I am sure you understand any manner of procedure requires prior registration, which in turn involves filling out official forms and signing regulation-approved documents. It is for this reason that I am, alas, unable to honor your request. With your permission, I will return to my duties. Thank you. Good boys, Glacio and Zeus. Good boys.
Keep your wits about you.
Pitch the court cogitator.
Operation successful.
Loot all over the place. Examine the book.
That's going in my personal file.
Failed. Ugh. Bad part about CRPGs. Fucking love these sorts of games, but the goddamn amount of reading. And I like reading.
Not a problem for a proctor.
Excerpts from the Let's Dragonis with Amenda, the changes personally signed by Theodore von Valsius reflect the current situation in the Toronto Suspense.
Is there money to be made?
Use the cogitator. So as personal debt have executed, all their possessions have been mercilessly accounted for and deposited in the storerooms of the Administratum. Shouldn't these objects belong to me, since I am their lord? Ranged, fuel.
I always keep my options open. That's how it's done.
Financial reports procurement data does not match up with the spending, but this has been gracefully covered up by a way of shrinkage column. Time-worn piece of paper bears a petition of some sort you managed to make out of fragments. Alright. That's everything from in here.
Always keep your eye on the price.
I'd like to think the Let supported that action. Head to here. Demolition is equal to agility. Alrighty. Need to talk to what's his name, Master of Secrets. Oh, my new Master of Secrets. And up here, he's gonna be on this side. Your Lordship, how may I serve? In the TV DMR already, the planet has been tainted by the cult of the final dawn. The grim tidings, the tragedy of the industrial world, such as the tremendous capacity, was brought down by the peculiar influence of the archenemy. Perhaps my colleagues can pick up the cultist trail in the cold void. Of course, it would be a small consolation to all of us. and all that. I feel the urge to have every one of those set the fans execute at once. Stedasol was such a normally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy, from which Lord Apollon hails. Androdons, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they never were granted an official title, a process which has been impeded by decades by the houses of Dodoris. And second, the other families do not see them as equal, but more an upstart clinging to the road traders' favor. The Wershians are responsible for the capital world's fleets and the majority of the cargo shipments on the domestic route. You are naturally well within your right, road trader, but remember that this is all cause of a multi-layered bureaucracy system of Dodoris and your entire protectorate, in fact, to come apart at the seams. And that's not to consider the likelihood of an attempted reprisals from the families and allies. I would hold off on the death sentences, act with restraint and wisdom, present for all to see, sufficient proof of the unwanted house's guilt. Do not mistake me. Mass executions are one way to solve your problem, but in that case, you should weigh up every possible scenario before you act. It's been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears scattered throughout the chronos expanse, warped distributions, astral paths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium. Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark or have been killed in some calamity or another. Still, I've managed to establish communication with some key individuals who are able to warn me about incoming threats. Looks at you in wide-eyed blinking. It is within my power to supply you with the intelligence on where and when the Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt the governor of Drivestem will beg you for protection against the Xenos, and in fact, in the fight, the information from my contacts will serve you well. What are your responsibilities? And do you truly serve? Other questions, the stars on your face. Concerning happens to the ship. Toy Master Road Trader has to find out what. Go straight to the sector. Double check what my mission is here. So it might be just as simple as going and finding the fucking seals that I need. Project to the Emperor, 0% executed. Find the seal on Dragonis. down here. On the vessel's shrine, a group of unknown assailants has invaded the temple and plundered. Ah, so it's time to pass. I performed a reading of his tarot in this morning watch sirens, but the visions sent by the Undying One were too indistinct. I saw rivers of blood flowing towards the bones of the dead and a blurred figure laughing, trending upon the ashes of the fallen. It is now clear the Undying One desires me to follow the figure treads, thus my hunt begins. Let us hunt! That's a lot of bodies. My decay officer.
Rise to the
Hey,
top, or get left
come
in
on.
the dust.
Stop that. One sec. Cat's being an asshole. Now the fuck am I supposed to do here? There's Montad. There's Salbeck. Been stolen. This is sacrilege. Stowed inside the sarcophagus is holding a spherical object gleaming with gold.
Rush not dawdle.
Mm. Confessor. It's been ransacked and the sacred ashes of the past rogue traders have and their servants have been stolen. Body there, body there. I've talked to everyone in this area. Well, I haven't checked this yet.
This could be an opportunity.
That side lit up. So it's just like
Miscalculations are for commoners.
pressure
I
plates.
don't make mistakes. I make profitable learning experiences.
I've seen a lot of innocent people. I've yet to see someone remain so after an interrogation.
Mall rest in the last repository.
Activating motive force reserves.
Those. Wait, that one.
Follow the threads.
Okay, so there's that one. And that one.
Look
So
no
Abelard.
You are authorized.
Pastel.
Sometimes you consult the appropriate treatise on Tactica Imperialis and weigh every step.
You go there.
Sometimes, though, you just fire your biggest cannon and save the day.
I am wrath. I am cleansing. Whoever wields me walks in my footsteps of Furia. There's one right there.
The web serves.
So Abelard is murmuring a prayer, and the Infernus Master is circling the chapel with keen eyes if watching the threat. Quickly swabs her gaze over the destruction before focusing on the bloody footprints that stretch from the ruins of the reliquary. Velvet coat is streaked with blood, and Yanis himself is deathly pale. A Medicaid officer is working on the black gunshot wound in his chest, but Yanis faintly with every touch, he focuses his eyes on you with tremendous effort. Forgive me for not greeting your lordship with a bow. I must tell you, Nemesite has stolen that great relic. How badly is he wounded? He's losing a lot of blood. The Medicaid officer casts a worried look at you. Why is there a hurry? Master Dennett should be on the surgeon's table as soon as possible. What is on your lordship? Worry not. What matters now is that you recover the relic. Groans. Medicaid officer pulls the blood-soaked bandage aside and shakes his head dolefully. Some miracle preserved life long enough that he might address you. His fate now rests in the hands of the Emperor. May he show mercy on the selfless man. Did you see the attack? I did not. I was on my way to the office, to offer a prayer when I heard gunfire and ran as fast as I could. When I got here, I saw Master Dennett, and I think the next thing I did was just press his wound and spout curses. Blood on his hands in confusion. So much of being a heroic repairman, I wasn't much use, was I? The old wives' tale, blessed with an amazing corporality. Whoever the bastard in the red scarf was, he went by that name and spoke very impertinently of your lordship. He dared to threaten you and promised that every dead serf from the Foundry Bay, three compartments of the upper decks would perish. Despicable villain. Just another arrogant rebel wrapping himself in the crimson red and wreaking havoc for for the duration of the commoners. No one has ever dared to raid the upper decks before, never in the ship's history, and the fury of the rabble has been so blind and fierce. Saracen red headstars burst into the chapel and started shooting. Their leader made for the relic, the remains of the honorable road trader, brought here from the mutant Soli Crypt. And when I realized that the sacred ashes of your ancestors were about to fall into the filthy hands of a heretic, one intent on desecrating the glorious dynasty, no, that could not be allowed to happen. I blocked his path. Janus briefly closed his eyes. Gathering his strength, the bastard allowed himself a few vile insults against me, which I am obliged to omit, but I did not give in to the provocation. I was hoping to buy myself some time. Then the so-called Nemesite started reviling the customs of the ship, berating its officers and enforcers before insulting the very name of your lordship yourself. I threw my glove in his face and demanded the duel, but the honorless villain just shot me. He laughed at me, the depraved creature. He winces either from a new burst of pain or from the memory of the humiliation he was so recently endured. And then he committed sacrilege by stealing the relic and shattering the sarcophagus. Forgive me, your lordship. I have failed to preserve the sacred ash of your ancestors. Inspect the empty altar. The altar has been brutally smashed, and the bed on which the sacred ashes of the past road traders and their servants once rested is now empty. I will not let you die here. Proud to serve the dynasty. Janus' thoughts are becoming muddled. The papers, lordship. Have the clerk double-check the freight bills. I did not have time to get the seals. My will is in the left-hand drawer. How did they manage to sneak all the way up here? Lordship clenched teeth. They had help. We have discovered the hidden corpse of several chapel attendants. The traitors took their clothes and led the Nemesite and his accomplices straight past the patrols. Professor Abelard ruefully shakes his head. They were good people, pious people. They never slighted a serf in their lives. Why punish them? His face grows darker. I swear that these innocents will be avenged. May the Emperor be my witness. I will strangle this Nemesite with my own two hands. May the Emperor protect you. The Phaeton's eyes roll back, and his enormous frame gives a convulsive shudder. The meditate officer snatches up a syringe of stimulant and speaks decisively. Apology, Your Lordship, but we are taking Master Danrat away. He is unable to tell you anything more at present, and every second we delay could cost his life. Take him. Go. Anders watched the limp body of the Factorum be carried away and chews grimly on his low stick, and he has appeared between his teeth. So what do we have so far? Master Danrat is on his deathbed. The attachers are either dead or have absconded along with the sacred relic, and the witnesses all agree that on this one thing. Nemesite and his accomplices came out of nowhere and struck suddenly. Only the throne knows where we can find these bastards now. We will find them. We will turn this vessel inside out if we must. There is nowhere even a void rat can. There is no need. The blood's whisper will lead us to Nemesite. Cabal's words make the two exchange puzzled looks. To learn much from these death cultists. Undoubtedly, Lord Captain, she presses her lips into a thin line. Perhaps the servant of death will share her insights that we might all understand what happened here and what we should do next. Tell us everything you know. Sharply turns to face a crimson splash on the floor and walls of the shrine. Her pupils dilate, threatening to drown her irises in darkness. Her expression turns distant, her voice becomes low and strange. This blood is drawn in a pattern of retribution. The one who spilt it appeared later. They move swiftly and furiously, numb to their own wounds. An enforcer who was drawn to gunfire and witnessed the sacrilege, probably. As for this pattern, Kabbalah points at the barely visible chain of starlit droplets. It was made in a fury and desperation. The one who left it was wounded, but they did not flee. They fought back while they could. and then they retreated into the darkness. Eyes closed and she falls silent, then she exhales sharply and points a steel claw. Into the darkness of the maintenance tunnels, hidden within the walls of the shrine. Tetra escapes to the maintenance tunnels. We can send in enforcers after them. The techno corridors extend hundreds of meters in different directions. Nemesis and his men must be familiar with the tunnels and possess either a map or a guide. Without a trio trail, the enforcers risk getting lost and wasting valuable time, not to mention the fact that those narrow tunnels are perfect for an ambush. You still have no idea where to find the Nemesis. The tunnels only answer the question of how he left. Now death will tell us where he was heading. As in a trance, Kabbalah leans over a body and peers into its eyes. He stinks the smoke of singed overalls. Vile low states burnt sacred onions and charred meat. She slides a pale hand along the dead man's skin and snates it under a sleeve of his coveralls, which she pushes back to reveal a fresh burn, bandaged with a torn strap of shirt. Her steel claws dig into the dead man's arm. Your wound holds the answer. You dressed it carefully, not inside the shrine. Before that, something struck you, ripped the tissue apart, burned you, turned your hand into a worthless lump. It was not fire, no. Drawing a rapid breath, Kabbalah opens her eyes. The fury of the conductive charge. It has marked you, heretic. I recognize your wound, for I myself have encountered it on those I take to the other side within the plasma drive chambers. We will follow the Nemesis trail. No, you must stay. You are the only one the Nemesis has challenged, and those who hunt know you by sight. You will frighten away the prey and will lose the trail until the next tragedy occurs. Unblinking gaze meets yours. So what do you suggest we do? I will go to the plasma drive chambers alone. I will track down the false champion and all who serve him, and I will prepare the drowns for your own hunt. Out of the question, enforcement squad will certainly scare off the vermin, but I am not letting you go alone. Servant of death, you and I will go to the chamber together, and together we will bring down all who dare to insult the Lord Captain. I'm going too. I have a couple of good friends in the plasma drive chamber. The nosy kind who know everything about everyone. Convincing them shouldn't be too difficult, especially if I pull a few favors. It will be the three of us then. What a company. Einrich's grim laughter echoes inside the shrine. There's an awkward pause, takes a long look at the officers' faces before finally nodding her assent. So be it, but not like this. Much like your faces, your guises are too conspicuous. The enforcer will procure regular work clothes for us. We will carry only inconspicuous weapons that we can hide easily in our tool bags. It will help us blend in with the crowd. Before I depart for the hunt for Nemesis, I asked the Daman to bless me. I pledged never to leave your side, yet the hunt demands that I do just that. Dratman's permission by performing the ceremony of twinning. Nods towards the altar. When your people have taken their leave, under the gaze of the Undying One will begin the rite. What is this ceremony? The rite of the blessing for the second hunt. With it, the Daman cast their shadow over the path of carnage. Under your benediction, I will strike harder and tread more softly. Let the ceremony commence. Lord Captain, the Inferno Master, and I will take our leave now and set out to prepare for the descent into the chambers. We dare not intrude, your lordship. Sit down now, dominant nation, and listen. Let the ceremony of twinning begin. Using only a fine-honed blade, carves an intricate symbol into the floor. She then produces a small bundle wrapped in incense-laden parchment and set in such an ointment. You are my Daman, I am your blade, and I am honed by your blessing. My arms are strong, while your will is strong. And as long as the Undying One hears your prayers, my feet will go unheard. Her blade kisses her palm, the dark blood beginning to trickle and spread over the bottom of the ritual cup that has now appeared in her hands. With our blood, with our will, we shall spin a starlit web, the symbol of the hunt. May it herald our prayer May it herald our praised demise. Puts the dagger to her hand, and you suddenly feel how heavy your eyelids have become. Your heartbeat slows inside your chest. Her words linger, then rush through your mind in a deluge. The heavy scent of incense envelops you and makes your head spin. You have my permission to go on this. Make a small cut on your palm. The pain gives way to a burning sensation as Kabbalah grasps your hand and squeezes it over the ritual cup. But this new discomfort quickly replaced again, this time by a dull numbness and the faint warmth of blood flowing from your open wound. The twinning is the blood's oath I have made to my lord. Kabbalah dips her fingers in the spilt blood and traces the symbol first on her own forehead, then on yours. It appears to resemble a blade that is cutting through an intricate knot. Anoint me with your blessing, Dominant Natius, and may the ceremony of twinning commence. Kabbala's face blurs before your eyes, no matter how hard you try to focus and dispel the vision in place of her face. You see a death mask, a broken skull with hollow eye sockets. Bestow my blessing upon you, and so on and so forth. Can we finish now? Be merciful, those whom you hunt may be victims themselves. May your loyalty to the flagship be ever so steady. May flagship be ever our steady guide during this mission. I am your shield, your shadow, your weapon. Your enemies will find only vengeance in the close embrace of my blades. Your body cannot accompany us on this chase, Daman, but your spirit, there is nothing that spirit cannot do. The twinning is complete. You and I are now bound by a blood oath. Think of me while I hunt, as will I think of you. Become a thought throwing through my mind. If the Undying One is gracious to us, he will send you dreams, and in those dreams you will see me. If he is more gracious still, those dreams will be truthful. I trust you. Let us begin. You perceive a faint smile from beneath the death mask. Kabbala's hand hands you the cup and begins tracing her fingers along the bottom while whispering a prayer. Watch now, Dominant Natius. What does I see in eye behold in the converging patterns of blood? She draws your attention to the symbol she has inscribed. You see shifting images in the blood, a spider trapped in a fine web, blurred shadows that could resemble either a swarm of void rats or an enraged hound, crossed blades, or a card of the Emperor's Tarot. But as soon as your gaze lingers on any of them, reality bleeds through the fluid shapes. Soon your spirit will be able to follow me. I will bid the servants carry your body to your chambers, where you will not be disturbed. Wait in silence and safety. For me, the hunt has begun. One fucking second. Okay, so yes, we need to do this. Wonder as you're facing the altar.
What do we have here? Keep your
All right,
wits
so
about
facing
you.
the altar near right.
I have a nose for profit and a taste for adventure.
When the faithful are idle, heresy grows.
Near right. Far left.
Onward!
What torments you?
Far right.
The web beckons.
Near left.
Lacey handles sacred technology breaks my heart. Figuratively speaking.
Remember, innocence proves nothing.
Altar.
What's a peculiar thing?
We are the spearhead of the Imperium.
$15 to $19, or $8 to $9. Maximum push distance to the mall is 5 cells, and any collision damage is increased by plus 50%. You uncovered all the secrets of the Void Ship Shrine. Get him the fuck out of here. Do you have a vision? Small cut. Let us begin. All right. Still a oppressive noise. The hum and whir of machinery drown out all thoughts. This place remains of tension. It is a powerful energy consorting through the tables. Or have the wails of the workers merged into a cacophony of indignant whispers and desperate prayers. Lost, mired in the petty troubles, unmindful of their duty, their voices creak as if covered in rust, and their eyes are dimmed by the endless drudgery and lack of light here on the working decks of the dumb and straight arc. I've seen it before. In these murky depths, people become creatures all too ready to devour each other for worldly gains. Fleeting pleasures or imaginary freedoms from obligation and born from the abyss of spiritual emptiness. The Undying One punishes them through me. Disguised mutations Abominations, reflections of vice, are born in these shadows. I will be their doom. The thread shaped, the web is taut. I step silently, may the great hunt begin. The thread shapes, the quarry always leaves a trail. We may not see it, but we can feel it. I taste the air, the scent of fresh dye, with a subtle note of sparks. This is new, pleasant. The upper decks reek of luxury, but here I feel comfortable. There is something else. This is it. I recognize the smell, unguent, low, and burnt meat. Just like inside the shrine, the time has come to spin the sacred web. The web is taut, now the hunt The web is taut across the hunt grounds. To find the enemy, I must listen, inhale, exhale, at the rhythmic beat of engines and pumps. That is the ship's breathing. This is the ship's heartbeat. It is strange that I feel home among the workers of the lower decks who pass their time like living dead. Warmth spreads through my chest. I like to think that is a connection with which the Undying One bound my and Dalman's fate together. He has blessed us, and we hunt as one. In the twilight of the chamber, barely illuminated by flickering candlelight, I become like him. The lost, mired servant. They will become unwitting allies in my hunt. Their hopelessness and desperation, their thirst for survival will become tools for my use. Where's the second spinner? We were supposed to meet here. You know that feeling when you're being stared at, but you can't tell whom or from where? Footsteps. Two are coming towards me. Familiar gates. Those are the Damon's servants. I would not be surprised if the cultists set out on a trail of Nemesis alone. The spinners are arrogant. We are just another soul to them, a gift to offer death. Steel Mistress's voice is hard and cold like her will. I can see in her eyes that she dislikes me. She is wary, and she should be, for we serve the Daemon, no one other. Does this remind you of anyone at all, Justiah? The man is enamored with fire. Even his words sound full of biting flame, and he himself enjoys playing with fire, too much so. They bicker again, their mutual animosity may disrupt the hunt. Examine the steel mistress and flaming voice. The lay people, the two are now scarcely distinguishable from the common serfs. In a world where status and privilege are defined by appearance, a single piece of rotten clothing is enough to lower your standing. We will become spectral hounds and follow the trail without drawing attention. I am here. There she is. Welcome to the Plasma Drive Chamber, esteemed Holy Assassin. You can exchange pleasantries later. Lieutenant Gaudre is on duty and is in this department. I have ordered her to gather information on all workers who wear red stars and who have recently left the bay. This is pointless. The red scarf is not a proof of guilt. It is merely a symbol. It could be a trap. I need to find her. I will watch the enforcer and those who are watching her in turn. Your enforcers know nothing about life in the department. I guarantee it. I have better source of information. A good friend of mine who knows a lot of people, who knows a lot about delicate matters. It would be easy to get him to talk. He's terrified of pain and death. Only the faithless fear death. I will not trust him. Let him trust me so that his trust may become a snare for my hunt. I cut them off with a gesture. Their methods of hunting are not mine, but I would take the grain of truth from their words and weave it into my plan. We need to provoke them into making a move. Repeating threat, instill a false sense of impunity, convince them that they can and must act now. The enforcer answers the steel mistress is the symbol of order and obedience in the chamber. She is standing in a way when she disappears. Standing in the way. When she disappears, my enemies will believe it is safe to strike, and that will be a costly mistake. Okay. Such is my plan. Alright, gonna end it there for right now.